Hello. Hello, everyone. Satsang Astrology here. Once more, another lunation, the second part of January. The promises to be eventful with all the transits. So I will speak about the Cancer full moon and other the aspects that it makes and other transits as well. I hope you're all doing well and working on Venus retrograde. Okay, so here is the information about me. You can find me at satsangadastrology.blogspot.com. Of course, I am on the social media, and if you need to contact me, here is the contact information. So if you like my kind of insights on the events, astrological events, please don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. That helps me, and also like and share or comment on my videos, on the content. I appreciate your comments and I always respond to them. Let me get full screen for you so you have the chart really big here. So we have a chart for the full moon, January 17. In the evening, it could be 18 in some other parts of the world as well. And as I always start looking at the elements and modes, right, is a strong earth, and it's also cardinal, mainly cardinal earth. So again, we can expect many changes in the material world. Right, we have the sun in Capricorn, which is not alone because we have a stellium there with Pluto, Juno, Venus, Vesta. So we have a lot of energy together with supporting this Venus retrograde, right? In the sun is 2751, Capricorn, the moon is 2751. Cancer, right? So it's a full moon in Cancer. What I wanted to point out is that that is very important is that the Cancer Capricorn axis is the axis of mom and dad. It's the axis of our most intimate life and our most public life. It's the axis of the security in society, the structures that ensure that society can function and that people can live in society somewhat safe, right? And Cancer is, as I said, the most intimate, the home life, the private life, as well as the shelter that we look for in life, the place where we feel more confident to get naked or to be protected, right? Nourished, taken care of. So we just started this cycle in Capricorn, right? At the very beginning of January, we just jump-started the whole year with a new moon in Capricorn, right? All focused on the Capricorn themes. And I think I shared with you that it was a jump start with a delay, right? So no, so fast because Capricorn and with Saturn, we need to take time to measure our efforts and especially to follow the rules and be disciplined and sober and okay. So in Cancer is the culmination of that cycle, the maximum potential of that cycle. And it is finding the nourishment, the comfort, the safety, the emotional security that we need. So whatever you started at the beginning of the month and year, you are now seeing the fruits of it. And it probably has to do with your emotional mood, your emotional state of being. Mainly, it could be related to your family, but depending, of course, which house the Cancer full moon will fall in your house, it will highlight it and highlight the themes of that house, right? It will shed the sunlight reflected by the moon on the subjects and the people even of the Cancer house in your birth chart, right? Suppose that it is the 7th house, then it will be your partnerships. If it is your 3rd house, it could be your friends, your neighbors, your siblings, relatives, right? Co-workers. So in the case of people, but of course, each house has many other significators. Anyways, so that's the general overview of the full moon. That is always like that, right? Any full moon in Cancer. However, we have a grand cross here because we have Eris in Aries, and we have Haumea in Libra, making a complete T-square. And if you have noticed, we've had lately several, and we will have some more new moons and full moons at the same degree, right? I think we started a couple of months ago with the new moons at 12 and the full moons at 27, 26, 27. So and you can expect to have some more of these during this year at the same degree. So already you will be affected by this particular full moon if you have some planets in cardinal signs at the last few degrees, right? But also you can be affected if you have hard aspects between the sun and the moon, for example, or if you have, because Pluto is conjuncting the sun for this full moon, you can also have at 26 degrees, you can also have an impact if you have hard aspects between the sun and Pluto and the moon and Pluto, especially hard aspects, but it resonates with all the aspects in general between these planets. However, of course, depending on your birth chart, that is the way that the influence will impact you. So it is different for every person, right? And of course, it is a different impact if you use the energies consciously, or you are just driven by the energy. So if you follow astrology, I suppose that you are at different degrees aware of the energy, and in different degrees also you apply it and you choose how to use the energy consciously. So, and this is the great advantage of astrology. So keep learning some more about learning astrology. I am teaching a full course with 2 classes a month and 1 extra hour one-on-one with the student, well, I teach every element and how to put things together and how to do the synthesis, meaning how to read a chart in its entirety and in its in a holistic way, let's say. So I encourage you to register for my course. You can start any time of the year, but since the year is starting, it's a good time, right? Okay, so going back to the Grand Cross with Haumea and Eris, if you're not familiar with these outsiders, these planets that are beyond Neptune, Pluto, etc. These planets have been discovered lately in the 21st century, and what they mean is for Eris in Aries, we follow mainly the mythology of Eris, the goddess of discord, and she is very engaged and active in she's an activist in the defense of those who are displaced from society, right? She went to the banquet of the gods, and she threw on the table this golden apple, and she said to the fairest, because the goddesses, imagine those teenagers back then, because life expectancy was not so long, those teenagers debating among themselves who is the fairest. And Eris had been left outside of the banquet because she was not as beautiful, right? She was not as attractive. So she was pissed off. She was really not happy about being left out. And so she came to instigate discord. And that was it is said that that was the start of the Trojan War, which is very cruel and bloody. So, but she really is the activist that is there to voice the complaints of those who are left out of the benefits of it could be the existence, because it's in Aries. She is now in Aries, which is the sign of the survival, the first burst of life, and the protection of existence. So we can say that right there, she is making us aware of how our own behavior and our own, let's say, rejecting others, and it's mainly when we reject others is rejecting ourselves, right? So it's because we project onto others we project onto others how do you say this, uneasiness that we have with ourselves, the lack of self-love. She felt probably not happy that she was not accepted because she didn't have good looks, right? So and this is today it is translated onto people who are considered less because of their color. or people who are considered less because they have handicaps, or because they are a different gender or sexual orientation, or they have a different ethnicity. I think it's everything could be put in the xenophobia word, right? The fear of those who are different, or the hate against those who are different. So that is the square to the full moon. She represents all those things, and how can we interpret this in the full moon? Well, if people are looking for safety in society, and also the necessary shelter, nourishment, and protection at home in their intimate lives, this is a factor that is really very important in present society, because many people are excluded from enjoying the benefits of security and safety and shelter even. Think of the migrants who are considered less or not worth of certain benefits because they come from other cultures, other ethnicities, other countries, right? So I think this is like the obstacle that society is now trying to overcome. And at the same time, on the other side, in Libra, we have Haumea. And Haumea is the goddess of the earth and nature regeneration, right? And we see that we are using the earth resources in a way that doesn't give the earth time to rebuild and recover soon enough for us to keep extracting resources from it. So we are creating this mountains and mountains of discarded resources and items, trash, that we cannot recover, or we haven't thought before of recovering soon enough in order to keep our usage sustainable, right? Because we are using and using and using and trashing and trashing and trashing, and we are not giving the earth enough time to recover. Yes, the earth is capable of regenerating, like Haumea, the goddess of nature, in the culture of the ancient culture of the islands, the Pacific Islands. And she was generating from her body. Her children were coming out of her legs and arms and everywhere in her body. So this is a representation of nature, how nature is growing from itself in regenerating herself. And it's a very powerful symbolism that we need to pay attention these days, because we have come to the breaking point where if we don't give her the enough time to recover, then we are exhausting Earth, and we are exhausting the resources, and we need to be more careful. And I know you may think, okay, politicians need to decide this because they are doing it in so much a great scale that we don't have control. Well, I think we do have some level of control because we are the consumers, right? So we need to plan our consumerism. We need to plan how to consume only what we need, and instead of discarding and trashing, trying to find new ways of utilizing what is old, or what has accomplished their function. We may recycle, we may recover, right, and reuse many things. So I think we are very important agents of taking care of this issue. Items like the water, for example, we, instead of leaving the water run and run uselessly, we can think of ways that we can save water, right? That we can save the clean water, and that we can keep the waters clean elsewhere, right? For example, putting the trash where it belongs, instead of letting it in the streets and letting the trash go through the streams of water up to the ocean, for example. So we can, by the square of the full moon to Haumea, I think we can become more aware of ways in which we can support this renewal, this regeneration of the earth and the resources. We can always take care of the land. For example, what I do in my kitchen is I separate different kinds of trash, the recycling bin with those items that my city is able to recycle. And what I do with the fruit and vegetable rests and the peelings and all that, I put them in a separate small container, and then I dump them in my bigger compost tumbler, and I prepare the compost. So that's one way that you can contribute to use resources more wisely. Other things is to repair, for example, devices, to repair them instead of throwing them and buying new. And other things that you can, that you may imagine yourself. Well, let's also focus on this Sun conjunct Pluto, because the Sun conjunct Pluto is an empowering, and it happens one day before, right? The exact conjunction happens on the 15, 16 of the month. So it's first you're empowering yourself. You're gaining authority, gaining the power of decision and action, right? So it's mainly a sun that has been empowered by by Pluto, right? It is self-transformation and self-empowerment. And that sunlight is reflected on the moon. So the moon then is reflecting, shining the light coming from the sun to find, with that self-authority, to be able to find the shelter and nourishment and take responsibility to find the shelter that is needed, right? So with the sun in Capricorn, and after all the transits, the powerful transits that we have had in 2020 and before 2019 as well, with Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Mars, etc., and all the transformations that we have gone through, this sun is taking all that kind of energy that has been transformed, and the sun, every time it goes through is empowering itself. What it means is that, translated in our personal life, is that we are becoming more aware of the responsibility that we have, and becoming our own authorities, and not waiting for governments or any institution outside or anybody else to tell us that we need to have discipline, that we need to have boundaries, that we need to take responsibility and be disciplined in everything that we do in order to provide for our families. Moon in Cancer, right? Provide shelter, provide food, refuge for our families, and for our emotional well-being and stability. So I think it's speaking very, very loud about our how to gain our own authority and take responsibility for ourselves. And so we have the moon in Cancer, which is, the moon is the ruler of Cancer, and the ruler of the sun is Saturn, again, going direct now, going forward, I think, and to the 20 degrees. So it has a long way to go direct, for 5 or 6 months approximately. And in the house, whatever house Aquarius is in your life, you are moving ahead, right? And this sun is receiving that forward energy of Saturn in order to you have been empowered, and now you are acting that self-empowerment out. So I think that's mainly it. Another important in Capricorn, important transit is Venus retrograde, who a few days ago on January the 8th has been meeting with the sun, and now it is becoming, it's coming out of the sunlight, and is now the morning star. So now Venus can be seen in the morning, all ready to go. And you may have gone through some kind of an epiphany, insight or revelation about your Venusian themes, right? Venus is relationships first and foremost, but is also any agreements or contracts that you may have engaged in. And Venus is also harmony and peace and beauty and artistic and creative expression. So now you have a new cycle of Venus, brand new, that you can start something new. Look at the house, Taurus and Libra, the Venus rules in your chart, and observe what are the changes that you are experiencing on those houses, right? As well as the house of Capricorn, of course. And you will certainly have new beginnings there. And another important transit to observe is the transit of Jupiter, that now is flashing through Pisces and going to meet Neptune. So that is such a wonderful and hopeful and beautiful transit that could be too much good at certain points. So just be measured and careful. But I hope you are enjoying that transit, which is so beautiful. And for a while, we will still experience the Saturn-Uranus square, but in a much less intensity until next year around October, when they will square again in less than a minute, I think is 40 minutes orb, which it won't be exact, but it will be almost, in fact, they will be at 19 degrees, both of them, except that they will have some minutes of difference. So you may feel it intensely, especially, as I said before, if you have aspects between Saturn and Uranus. And also, if you have any planets at 19 degrees of the fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. So you may be affected. And in fact, they are forming a T-square with my sun in Leo. So, so I'm feeling that Saturn going down and my rebellion, not wanting to stop. I mean, it's been very difficult. So I wish you the best with this full moon in Cancer, that you feel cozy and comforting at home, and that you have all the resources that you need, and that you use them wisely. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for your support and for sharing my videos. And I invite you to visit my social media if you are there. Otherwise, my blog, I write almost every day there. It's satsang@astrology.blogspot.com. So thank you for watching, and I wish you the best. Bye.